Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're taking a trip way back into the ancient Mauryan Empire to look at a classic text called Nyayamantri, which translates to the Minister of Justice. And let me tell you, this isn't just some old story. It is an absolute masterclass in morality, the rule of law, and the sheer unfiltered courage it takes to stand by your principles. Okay, let's dive right into this, because the explosive core of this text asks a really tough question. Just imagine living in a society where the king's word is literal law. He's completely untouchable. But what happens when that very king breaks the ultimate law? I mean, how does a justice system even handle the impossible? Well, let's unfold this and find out. Act 1. The Mysterious Guest. So, picture this. It's a dark, super quiet evening. In a really humble home lives a Brahmin named Shubhashal. And like a lot of folks back then, he is just deeply frustrated by this rising tide of injustice happening across the kingdom. Suddenly, out of nowhere, there's a knock. A mysterious young stranger asks for shelter. And despite how crazy the times are, Shubhashal just opens his door without a second thought. He's warm, he's inviting, and completely devoid of any suspicion.
Now, the text uses this really specific word here, subhagya, which means good fortune or good luck. Shishupal literally considers it his lucky day to be able to offer shelter to a traveler. This immediately tells us who this guy is. He's a man of deep traditional values who finds honor in doing the right thing, even when nobody is watching.
And that brings us to the whole concept of atiti, or guest. Shishupal treats his atiti with just the absolute highest level of respect. They share a meal, they sit down to talk, but man, the conversation quickly turns heavy. Shishupal just can't hold it in anymore. His blood is boiling over all these terrible injustices happening across the kingdom. Well, the stranger kind of pushes back, noting that, hey, it's really easy to complain, but it's incredibly difficult to actually fix things. And that sparks this massive, bold claim from Shishupal. He flat out declares, if given an opportunity, I will show what true justice is. The stranger just smiles and warns him it's a tough job, but Shishupal practically begs for the chance to prove it.
Act 2. The Royal Seal.
Okay, so morning comes, the guest leaves, and life seems to go back to normal. But a few days later, royal soldiers actually show up at Shishupal's door. He is terrified. He thinks the stranger reported him, and he gets dragged all the way to the grand court. But when he finally looks up at the throne, the supreme ruler of the entire Mauryan Empire, Emperor Ashok, is just smiling at him. The mysterious guest was the emperor. Ashok reminds Shishupal of his big, bold claim and asks, "Are you ready?" And Shishupal, incredibly, bravely accepts. To make it totally official, Emperor Ashok actually takes off his Raj Mudra. This is the royal seal. It's a ring that signifies absolute, unquestionable authority. Ashok places it right into Shishupal's hands, officially appointing him Nyayamantri, the Minister of Justice. Just like that, a frustrated everyday citizen becomes the highest judge in the land. Act 3. A shocking murder. So for a solid month, Shishupal's administration is literally flawless. Perfect peace just blankets the kingdom. People actually stop locking their doors at night. But then, a brutal crime happens under the cover of darkness. A royal night guard is found murdered. The news just stuns the citizens, completely ruining Shishupal's perfect track record. He works day and night to investigate, while the whole kingdom is asking, who did it? Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer tension of this moment. Shishupal investigates tirelessly, and the evidence points to an impossible, frankly terrifying conclusion. The murderer is Emperor Ashok himself. In full view of the court, this newly appointed justice minister has to somehow confront the supreme ruler who literally just gave him his job. Act 4. The Emperor on Trial. You gotta feel for Shishupal here. He's in this agonizing dilemma. He's an employee of the emperor, sure, but as Nyayamantri, he serves justice first. And to justice, there is absolutely zero difference between a commoner and a king. Notice his flawless legal logic here. First, he definitively identifies the culprit, no exceptions. Second, he forces the court to acknowledge the emperor's guilt. And third, he resolves to apply the law totally impartially, doing exactly what he promised on that very first night. So, picture the grand court. Ashok asks if the culprit's been found. Shishupal says yes. Ashok demands he be presented. Shishupal pauses, turns to a high-ranking officer named Dhanvir, and delivers this earth-shattering command. Dhanvir, look no further. Arrest the culprit, and he points his finger directly at Emperor Ashok. The court goes dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. The emperor's face turns beet red with anger, but Shishupal, he doesn't even blink. He repeats the order, and the very next second, handcuffs are placed on the emperor's wrists. No way, right?
Act 5, The Golden Justice.
All right, so the arrest is made, but now comes the trial. Ashok admits to the killing, but actually tries to justify it, claiming the guard was incredibly arrogant. Shishupal replies that, hey, arrogance doesn't justify a murder by a royal official. The law dictates a death sentence. But how do you execute a ruling monarch? Shishupal finds this masterful solution. He orders a solid golden statue of Emperor Ashok to be brought into the court, explaining that since the ancient scriptures consider the king a representative of God, well, only God can truly punish him.
This builds a seriously brilliant legal precedent. I mean, think about it. A commoner would face physical execution, but executing the emperor, that would completely destabilize the entire empire. By ordering the execution of the golden statue instead, Shishupal publicly enacts the punishment. He upholds the law visibly for everyone to learn from without tearing the whole kingdom apart. The actual legal phrasing for the emperor's sentence is a chetavani, which basically translates to a severe warning. So the emperor is let go with a strict chetavani, while the gold statue is hanged in his place. It's an incredibly shrewd move. Shishupal has flawlessly navigated this total political minefield, satisfying both absolute moral duty and the really complex realities of royal protocol. And naturally, the crowd just erupts in cheers for his justice.
So after the court clears out, you have this exhausted Shishupal. He takes the Rajmudra, the royal seal, and tries to give it back to Ashok, basically saying he just can't bear this heavy burden anymore. But Ashok looks at him with this deep, profound respect. He absolutely refuses to take the ring back. He tells Shishupal that his bravery is praiseworthy and literally no one else can carry this burden. Hearing this, Shishupal becomes Narottar, just completely, utterly speechless.
So what does this all mean for us? The crucial takeaway from this story isn't just about some clever loophole with a golden statue. It's about an unwavering commitment to fairness, even when the stakes are terrifyingly high. It forces us to ask ourselves, if true justice is indeed supreme and equal for all, how will you uphold it in your own life? Will you have the courage to speak truth to power? Think about that for a bit, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.